So I want to talk to you all about being a friend to fear, because being a friend to fear is a tricky situation to be in. You know, a lot of times whenever you're a friend of somebody who has anxiety or panic attacks or is deeply rooted in fear, the first thing you think to say is, oh, it's okay, or you're gonna be fine, or it's okay, cry it out, or whatever. And honestly, that's like the worst thing that we can do, being a friend of fear. For me, my sister Bella, my brother John Luke, and my mom were so core and so important whenever I was in my deep struggle with fear, because they were the three people who didn't accept my fear. They didn't say it was okay, and they didn't just be like, oh yeah, that's good, you can fear because things are scary, but they called me out. And they covered me in truth. And I think that's the most important part, is that they covered me in truth. Literally so much covered me that one time I was driving around in my car. I just got asked to be in Dancing with the Stars. I was freaking out. I was so nervous. I remember I was crying hysterically. I was shaking, and I was in my friend's neighborhood. To this day, I have no idea how this even happened, but my brother, John Luke, comes up while I'm driving, and he knocks on my car door, and he asks to come in, and I'm so embarrassed, and I don't want him to come in, and I don't want him to get in my car because I'm like crying and losing my makeup and I'm shaking. And so my brother jumps on the top of my car, and I literally drive around for 20 more minutes. I was being so dramatic, and he just covered me literally on the top of my car. And finally I got out, and he just asked me what was wrong. And I remember I was so embarrassed, because fear is kind of embarrassing, and fear makes you feel like you're crazy. And the important thing is, John Luke didn't make me feel like I was crazy, but he called me out, and he was truthful with me, and he began to cover me in scripture. And I think that there were two that really stuck out to me. One, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. And he goes on to read that whole thing. And then the other one is Psalms 46, and it says, for God is my refuge and my strength and ever-present help in times of trouble. It goes on to say, even when the oceans are roaring and foaming, even when the mountains are crumbling, even when the nations are in uproar, all we are to do is to be still and know that God is God. And I remember my brother just speaking this truth over me, not calling me crazy, but calling me out and covering me, and that is a friend to fear.